Good day. Thanks for joining us here on Leadership TV. This is Inside Nigeria, and I'm Cynthia Onwado. Of course, we are here to discuss the major trending stories on our national dailies. It's been a filled weekend, and of course there's a lot to talk about. We have Donald Trump, we have talks about the pardon list, and there's just a lot to discuss about. But of course, let's begin first with Leadership newspaper. The major headline here talks about Middle Belt Forum, Kwankwaso Gumi rejecting Trump's threat of military action. That's a trending story and a developing story right now. And also, presidency says US help against Boko Haram, others must respect sovereignty, Tinubu to meet Trump. Still on Leadership newspaper, strike, resident doctors abandon patients and hospitals. Also, family seeks justice for Nigerian killed in Thailand job scam camp. That's on page 2. Nigerian Airlines spent $5 billion on maintenance abroad in 5 years. Still in the news, I'm joining ruling party in Bayelsa interest, says Governor Diri. Also, current People's Democratic Party leaders are undertakers, says Fayose. To read that, that's on our page 32. And above the masthead here, we see Kano approves construction of 50 affordable houses across 36 councils. That's on page 7. Still on Leadership newspaper, let's take a look at our editorial, which is called Our Stand. It's taking a look at Trump's false narrative on Nigeria. You may pick up a copy of Leadership newspaper to read all of that, to get our opinion here on the trending issue of President Trump speaking about the killing of Christians in Nigeria here, and threats of a military invasion on Nigeria. Finally, on our back page, it says a Monday column with Dakuko Peterside, reversal of pardon lists as fruit of public activism. And you may want to pick up a copy to read more of that. And down below, of course, our Ghana Must Go cartoon says, we'll fight it out if US invades Nigeria. Fani Kayode wants Trump. And down below it says, you and who. Of course, a lot of Nigerians have been speaking continuously about Trump's threat of military invasion in Nigeria. Various reactions from all quarters. You may want to pick up a copy of Leadership newspaper today and read a lot more on what we have to say about that. Moving down to Nigerian Tribune, the front headline, or the front page headline, or one of that says, country of particular concern, what it means for Nigeria. Also, that's on page 3 and 4. It covers the economic sanctions, international isolation, a ban on IMF, World Bank loan, and other stories. Also looking at Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, the designated entities of particular concern in 2023. Also, Tinubu meeting with Trump over Christian genocide claims, says the presidency. That's a hot topic right now, and that's featured on the front page of Nigerian Tribune. Also, on business, Zenith Bank posts 917.4 billion naira profit before tax in 9 months as gross earnings rise 16% to 2.27 million naira. Above the masthead, it says troops kill terrorists, attack 20, rescue 17 kidnapped victims. We're still on the Nigerian Tribune here. PDP crisis, uncertainty over control of National Secretariat, anxious stakeholders, staff members fear possible clash. All right, that's an inner fighting within the PDP ahead of the 2027 election. Still on Nigerian Tribune here, it says on health, dance alleviates perceived symptoms of depression, said study. So we may want to do a lot more dancing moving forward. Finally, Tinubu's economic reforms essential for Nigeria's growth, says Okpeb. Punch newspaper, the major headline on the Punch says CPC blacklist. 12 Nigerian governors, other officials may face UX sanctions. Government officials, judges risk asset freeze in new US law, and Tinubu, US vice president, may meet amid tensions. All right, the trending story right now, which is the US perceived or threat of invasion in Nigeria over Christian genocide. Still on the Punch, coup controversy. Silva's brother driver still in custody. That's on page 7. And on page 3, it looks at student loan applicants hit 1 million naira, says NEL fund. Down below on the punch, we see doctors dispute federal government's 11.9 billion naira payout. Strike continues. NDLEA arrests musician, uncovers Lagos illicit drug laboratory. You may want to read more on that. And finally on the punch, Diri joins APC today, cites Bielsa's interest. All right, let's move on now from the punch. Let's take a look at Daily Sun. The major headline on the Daily Sun says PDP plots survival strategy. Governors, Board of Trustees consider caretaker committee options, intensify efforts to resolve crisis. Still on Daily Sun, Igbo group in US folds Kanu's continued trial. All right, we're still looking at headline stories here on Daily Sun. ASU rejects FG's proposed 35% salary increase for varsity lecturers, insists on NIMI break salary benchmark. Also, rising costs, a weak demand squeeze Nigeria's brewers. And still on politics, joining APC in Bielsa's interest, says Governor Diri. All right, let's move on now from Daily Sun and get to see what Vanguard is saying. On the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, we see Trump outrage over plan to attack Nigeria. All right, we are working assiduously with the Americans to combat banditry terrorism in Nigeria. That's a statement from the federal government. Still on Vanguard newspaper here, INEC challenges before Amupiton by Jega. All right, Soludo gains momentum in Ekwusigo and Newi South. Looking at 2027, battle for PDP soul deepens as factions dig in. All right, finally on Vanguard front page here on the page 19, it says gas policy under threat as flaring worsens. All right, that's all from Vanguard newspaper. Finally, now let's check out Blueprint. That's the last paper we're looking at today on Inside Nigeria. The major headline here says Tinubu ahead of unfolding orchestrated game by America, says the presidency. All right, to meet Trump soon on genocide claim. We'll defend our country against external aggression, says Fani Kayode. Don't be divided by foreign lies. Sharia Council, CSOs urge Nigerians. All right, still on Blueprint newspaper here in the news, it says Ribadu working hard to end insecurity, says APC stalwarts. All right, Dangote refinery, a strategic national asset, says Deva Kumar. Still on politics, PDP set to appeal court judgment stopping convention. All right, also Taraba raises the alarm over outbreak of bird flu. That's on health. And on education, NEL fund records 1 million loan applications disburses. All right, looking at the student loan, and NEL fund is talking about how many applications they have received so far. Finally, now on sports, also it says playoffs, Onyedika not 100% fit, says coach. All right, that's all on the Blueprint newspaper. But we have a lot to talk about in Nigeria. There are a lot of trending stories, and I've given you a few on the national dailies. If you want to comment on any of that, please do well to leave a comment. We would really love to hear from you. My name is Cynthia Onado. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 08036886158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.